Alkaline batteries can and probably will kill your Optic. These days, optics such as these, they are very light on battery usage, and this is great. This means that they're more efficient. That is absolutely fantastic. However, that means that these batteries are going to sit in these optics for potentially multiple years. Now, when you get something like an alkaline battery, such as this cheap pack here, after sort of 3 to 5 years, give or take, they can leak and burst over time. When they leak or burst, they will deposit this white gunk out of their positive and negative contacts, so the front and the back of the battery. When they do this, this gets in between the battery and the contacts and coats the contacts of your Optic internally, and means that they stop working because that discharge does not conduct electricity. And that coats to your contacts, it gums up there, you can't get it off, and therefore your Optic is ruined. So, don't do that. If you do that and have this problem, then, well, the fix for it depends on which manufacturer you've got. We have a Vortex Crossfire RD2 here, we have a Vortex Razor here, and if either of these were to have this problem, I can simply send it off to Vortex and not have a problem at all. They will fix it, no questions asked, and it will come back to me. No problem, all good. For Aimpoint, it is a little bit more involved-ish. So either way, again, this can happen. I mean, this can happen on any of these, of course, because it's down to the batteries and not the optics. If I get in contact with Aimpoint and say, hey, this is what's happened, I can send it off to them, they will repair it as best they can, and then it will come back to me, usually free of charge. For something like this Aimpoint Comp M4 here, that's no problem at all, it will come back to me exactly as intended. For an Aimpoint Comp M2, they don't make all of the parts for this anymore. So you can have sometimes issues where they won't have the battery cap. They won't have a Comp M2 or, you know, whatever old Optic battery cap that you want. And so you end up with a modern one being fitted instead. This is particularly true at the moment, for example, of the Aimpoint 3000. If you have an old 3000 and you need that battery cap replaced because you've ruined the contacts, they don't have a 3000 spec battery cap. And if you bought a 3000, then you presumably value the historical significance of the Optic, and so you want it to be in its historical state. That's not going to happen if you ruin the battery cap by having an alkaline battery in there. So that's really the case with Vortex probably as well. I don't know how specific they are with manufacturing their legacy products, because I don't think Vortex has really been around for as long as Aimpoint has. Also, on that subject, because someone did this with an Aimpoint Comp M4S, I think it was, they received it, bought it secondhand, and the battery compartment was seized. They couldn't rotate this. If this happens on any Optic, do not just go, oh, it will probably be fine, and then leave it. Because as it happened for this particular chap, it turns out that someone that grugged the battery compartment as tight as possible using tools that they shouldn't have been using, turns out they had no idea what to put it in the first place, which you can probably assume for someone that does that with a battery cap. You shouldn't be using that kind of thing to close up a battery cap. It's completely unnecessary, and if someone does it to an Optic, then you can reasonably assume that they are lacking knowledge. So with this Comp M4S, not this particular Comp M4, but with that situation, of course he'd put an alkaline battery in it and then seized the battery compartment up tight so that it couldn't be opened again. Of course the thing leaks, and of course the thing breaks as a result, and so they had to send it off to Aimpoint to then get it repaired, have the battery cap replaced, have the contacts replaced, etc, etc. Bit of a faff. So if you ever find a battery cap seized on any Optic, don't just leave it. Make a proper effort to get that thing open and sort that out. Or ideally, if a battery cap is seized, don't buy it. Don't buy that Optic, because it probably hasn't been treated correctly. So, Aimpoint, yes, they're largely okay, but their older Optics are not manufactured anymore. That can cause some problems. EOTech. EOTech are a bit faffy with their warranty. They are not as good when it comes to warranty stuff. So you can buy replacement battery contacts, and they can offer to fix it for you for a fee. However, I am not aware of them offering unilaterally to replace and repair battery contacts if you have that issue. So we open up here, make sure your EOTech batteries are not alkaline. We'll talk about alternatives in a sec, just to keep things coherent. So also another example, just because it has a slot in it doesn't mean you need to grog the thing closed, right? Don't seize your battery caps. If you take something like this, like an aim point, well, it may look like an aim point because it has aim point written on it. However, this is a reproduction. This particular one is made by Holy Warrior. If you were to, so this is a, it's one of the watch batteries. I've forgotten the name of it. LR44. There we go. If you put an Alkaline LR44 in here and it seizes up, you are absolutely welcome to try messaging Holy Warrior about it. However, they will probably simply not respond to you. And if they do respond, then they will simply send their condolences and best wishes and inform you of where you can buy a new optic. These cheap optics manufacturers are not really on your side in the long term. And yeah, if you break one of these, it's a you problem, unfortunately. Because part of what you're paying for with the more expensive optics is the more expensive service. So, we've talked about what can go wrong and what you can do if it does go wrong. How can you prevent it in the future? 1, don't buy alkaline batteries. We've gone through that before. The alternative is lithium batteries. These are a little bit more expensive, but they are higher quality, and they're not much more expensive at all, and they will not leak like alkaline batteries do. So I have lithium batteries in all of these. It's not hard to find lithium batteries of the various shapes and sizes. So that is a 13N, for example. That's a bit uncommon, but you can absolutely find them in lithium. That's a AA. That's a 2032. That's a 2032. That is a CR123. And this is a LR44. All of these, so this is a pretty decent range of battery types that you can have, and you can get them all in lithium. Like I say, they are slightly more expensive, but with the way that optics are these days, they are going to last, unlike alkaline batteries. And yes, buy lithium batteries for your optics, and they will serve you right. If you get alkaline batteries instead, then you will have trouble over time because they will leak and they will break your optic. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you very much for coming along. Appreciate it, and have a good day.